What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be previewing round 17. It's Port Adelaide versus the Western Bulldogs at the Adelaide Oval this Saturday afternoon in a fiery top 8 clash. It's going to be one that is definitely going to be the most important of what these two teams can do this year. The Dogs are just sitting outside in 9th and Port are sitting 7th, both coming off of pretty interesting wins at Marvel Stadium. The Dogs bet North on Saturday and the Power bet St Kilda by 2 points on Sunday. Both games weren't the greatest of spectacles to watch by all means, but they come into this one with a lot of optimism heading into what is going to be, it's going to be a do-or-die clash, this one. This one will prove whether or not, Port Adelaide have found a bit of consistency again. Can they get back-to-back wins? Are the Dogs still teetering on that top 8 spot they so desperately want, or are they going to be capable of breaking that barrier through? Both teams are pretty similar in terms of positions, but the Dogs are a one win behind Port at the moment, so definitely a more important clash for the Dogs to win in terms of their aspects. But then again, you sit here as a Port fan and you're like, well, we should be winning this game. We should be winning it at home. But this is one of those games where you sit here and you just go, I don't know how to pick it, and I'm very much interested to see, what we do as a team. It's supposed to be, I think, pretty good conditions at the Adelaide Oval this week in terms of the weather. So I'm not sure of how to take the Dogs, if I'm honest. I'm very hesitant to predict us because I know how on edge the football club is and the results wise, and you can tell by last week's emotions that it's been tough and difficult to deal with, but there also has been a sense of relief around the football club. I wouldn't say relief in the fans' minds by all means, but it's nice to have 4 points sort of back in the pocket, and you just sit here and go, all right, now we've got that win. Does it kind of switch back on? And we saw last year, and I don't want to use them as an example because I think it's a little bit different, but Carlton had a first half shocker first quarter shocker against Gold Coast. It was a game at the MCG that there was not many fans there, and everyone has sort of written off the season. They came out and kicked, I think, 9 goals in a quarter, and all of a sudden switched back on. So I think for Port Adelaide aspect, I use the St Kilda game as a bit of a different sort of magnitude to that, but we've got that win. It's having that moment, having that win. You grind out an ugly win, against a side that isn't the greatest to play against, and you find a way. And it's then does that flick the switch in all the players and the coaching staff and the Port Adelaide community's minds to say, all right, we can now go forward with this. We come up against a team like the Dogs who are prolific. They have a great forward line. You combine their 4 tools with Norton, Darcy, Hagan, and Rory Lobb, who got coaches' votes last week, playing behind the ball. So I'd expect something pretty similar this week with our unstructured forward line, and I think that could play havoc. So I think when it comes to that, you don't know how to play the Dogs because they can be on, and they can be on from the midfield. Their midfield's elite. They found Libba back last week, and then Bontempelli's he's in Bontempelli form at the moment. It was unbelievable. Their craftiness, I think, down forward as well. They might have their tools, but who else dominates us all the time when we play them? It's Cody Waitman. So if you're a betting man and you're going to build a multi on the weekend, Cody Waitman for 3+ is almost a guarantee already. I think the way we deal with the Dogs is contested wise. You got to beat them in the middle. You got to have hands on the footy, and we saw last week we had really good tap work from Sweet against Rowan Marshall. This week you come up against English. Sweet coming up against his old side. So I think the tap ruck work, he's going to have to work with English, and Marshall managed to hit us on the scoreboard last week and play forward. That's because they played 2 rucks, and the Dogs can do that as well with their tallness around the ground. They've got Darcy and Lobb, both can play ruck. So whereas we'll have Finlayson running through there, and I think Sweet's going to have to match Marshall he's going to have to match English like he matched Marshall last week around the ground. Didn't win around the contest, but he was able to influence in the middle of the ground, and we were able to get centre clearances and score some clearances were massive for Port last week. So I think going into this week's game, that's going to have to be another crucial focal point. The contested possessions as well. The Dogs average, I think, 12 or 13 more than us for the year. So I think if we're able to, nullify their contested beasts at the contest, and we're able to get those quick hands out through there, and basically first of the footy, and that's what we got to do. Without making this a contested affair, I think we can, win this game by making a free-flowing contest and catching the Dogs' defence out. And I hate to say it, but it'd really be a nice week to have Dixon back in the side, having that big bulky bloke down there, just being able to impact the contest and have our smalls working around the ground. Whilst the smalls are Darcy Byrne-Jones and a couple of the younger kids as well, and Horne-Francis roaming down there too. It is a little bit different, but I think Rioli coming back into the side now, just on Rioli as well. I know I'm making this a monologue, a one takes on a kind of factor for a preview, but just on Rioli, you sit here and you go. Ken Hinkley comes out in his press conference and says, "Oh, he's not guaranteed to play AFL." Ken, we're not dumb. We've sat here every single week for the last 3 weeks, seen Rioli named and pulled out on the Friday. All right? If he was pulled out last week because of illness, he's coming back into the side. You're going to play him in the AFL. It's not we can manage him in the SANFL. No. He's not playing Magpies this week. I can guarantee you, Willie Rioli will play for the AFL side this Saturday. He's had enough time off. We need him in the side. You can manage his approach to the game by continuous rotations. But yeah, you're not doing that. In terms of our structure as well, like speaking on selections, Todd Marshall is supposed to play. That's what Ken said. He's going to be fine. So apparently he's playing. Probably not a good thing. Two factors. One, us with hamstrings this year have never been. It's kind of laughable. Two, Todd's so far out of form. It's not funny. I'd almost not play him anyway. I'd be bringing in Tom Scully. Play a first game and see how it goes. Ollie Lord, I think, needs to play a bit deeper. He needs to be, the target this week. And I think maybe you do play 2 rucks this week and rest one forward. I think Sweet can play forward. He can do a good job. So, it just depends how you want to structure with their big tool, team. Because the Dogs have, as I mentioned, the 4 tools. Whether or not do we bring in, if Lockie Jones is up and available, does he play against a taller opponent? Do we bring in Tom Cleary? They're not going to risk Sava this week. That's a given. Although, it'd be the perfect week to have the 3 big tools down there. So, yeah, there's a lot to contribute to this for this week's game. So I'm not sure how it's going to pan out. But regardless of the fact, I'm a little bit confident. I don't know what it is. There's something about this week that finally felt like there's a bit of confidence about this. And, as much as I didn't really like last week's game, and none of us are really, having the utmost of confidence in the club at the moment, I feel like, there's a time and a place where the switch is finally flicked, and this, I think, might be it. So I'm going to be tipping Port by 12 points in an absolute nail-biter at the Adelaide Oval. And one, unfortunately, I can't attend because I'm playing footy at the same time, but I just hope and pray that we get the job done this week and find a bit of a glimpse to say, all right, we can do something with this. And that starts with this week against the Dogs. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, Port fans. This is the preview for round 17. I really appreciate everyone's support. Hope you've enjoyed the vlog from last week's game. Enjoyed the review as well. They're both out from, they were just put out yesterday. So yeah, I do apologise for the late uploads of those, but I wanted you guys to see how I felt and how everyone was feeling after that game. So I hope you've enjoyed those. Got a special video coming out tomorrow as well, unboxing footy cards too. So something a bit different for the channel. With JT from obviously the Glass Table, so we'll be doing that tomorrow. So make sure you check that out as well. They'll be on the channel, and yeah, we can have a lot of fun and hopefully Port get the job done. So thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content to come your way. My name's Anthony, and as always, gun pair.